Everybody. Right. Okay. Uh, Before I jump into what is open learning, I just want to clarify that there are many terms that people use. Some people use terms like homeschooling, unschooling, free schooling. So many terms are there across the world. So the idea is not to get lost in these terms, including the term we use. We use the term open learning. So let's not get lost in these terms. Let's just realize that uh, there's that the whole aspect of education somehow appears uh, to be only one option. Now that's exactly what all of these try to break, that there is actually a whole continuum. You can have full structure of a school kind of a system, school or college, or you can have complete no structure, no curriculum, or you can have any combination in between, or you can also move along this continuum as the child grows. Uh, so everything is open. The most interesting thing is that there's so many options, so many possibilities, rather than just saying, "Oh, we have to do only this way." And this kind of openness of this world around us makes us like the word open learning, that it's all available to us. So I just wanted to set that right, that let's not get worried about the terms at all. Um, so, to give you the perspective, when we started, or rather before we even started working with children, one of the key questions we had was that what's the purpose of education? And um, what appeared to us, which was kind of unfortunate, at least it appears unfortunate to us, is that the whole education system is more and more and more talking about job, career, future. It seems it seems to be that the purpose of education is to get people to earn, which does not kind of go very well with us. At least we believe that, hey, it has to be something more than that. And the answer to us is that the purpose of education is to live, or rather to help us live, or rather in that sense living and education seems to be synonymous. They seems to be the same. So we go to the extent, say, living, learning, education, all is just synonymous. And when we think like that, when we start thinking, hey, the purpose is to live our life however we want to, and that is what education is all about. It's not about just earning money. And when we think like that, we realize that the child needs to be given the leadership of self. And the moment we turn around and say, hey, you are the leader of your life, whether they are, when they are actually 1 and 2 years old, they're anyway very strong leaders of their life. They decide what they want to do, when they want to sleep, when they want to eat. Extremely strong leaders when they are 1 and 2 years old. So why do that we take away their leadership and we say, now we will tell you what to learn and what to do? So when we do this, when we turn it and say, hey, you are the leader, this is your life, live it, that's when education and living become synonymous. And then few thoughts come in our minds. So we have put together 4 propositions. The first one is that if that is how it is, that we don't need to bind the child with any curriculum. We can just let the child lead and decide what the child wants to learn. And that becomes very interesting, because then children maybe explore a lot of different things, get attracted based on what their interests are or what they find as inviting, and so on. And not only that, they also start finding that they themselves can decide how they want to do or learn something. Everything need not be taught. If they need a teacher, they will ask for it or find somebody. Otherwise, they can just go ahead and do things and figure it out. And um, a lot of times use a lot of different resources, and especially in today's internet world, there's no dearth of resources on the net. Uh, Also, when we put one and two together, we realize that, hey, if I am deciding what I want to learn and how I want to learn, then why should somebody else assess me? Why can't I self-assess myself? Why can't I do my own self-reflection, take feedback wherever I feel like, and then put this all together to move forward? And also then we start looking at the options around us, not just as schools and colleges or degrees, but as so many other possibilities, including doing a lot of apprenticeships or internships or doing open courses or uh, even doing just self-learning and so on. So a whole lot of options open in front of us when we don't necessarily get stuck with that one has to go to school or college. Though there's nothing wrong in going to school and college. So school and college become one of the options, not like the option. Right. So kind of these four together is what kind of propositions lead the child, or rather leaves the child to lead himself and herself. So I'll show you a very quick video of some children of Arohi just responding as to what are they doing, or what do they like doing.
Connecting with people is amazing.
I like chit-chatting with my friends while eating.
An opportunity to take all the guests around the tour, around the campus.
Currently, I'm working on improving myself so I can play in a club next year.
I get resources and support to fulfill my passion for sketching.
I sketch many things of animals, birds.
In Arohi, I am a guest and I can find my space here, pursuing my interest on upcycling.
I drum to express my emotion and it makes me feel lighter. In bird watching, I learn a lot of things. What is color of bird and
I like the time when I spend with the community playing sports.
I spend time doing projects related to cinematography and video editing.
I like organizing trips in Narohi, kyunki your opportunity is to organize trips.
video making is awesome. It's productive and you get an awesome outcome.
I like to do electrical work. I've put many.
I connect with the planning here, gives me clarity.
I like playing with the cats. I learn crochet and teach others crochet.
எனக்கு சமைக்கிறதுக்கு இங்க ரொம்ப பிடிக்கும்.
All the resources here are new to me to explore.
Right. So that was just a little warm up to how children, some of the children were responding. These were Arohi children. So what Arohi does is it takes this simple concept of open learning and what we do, what happens, or what Arohi is rather, is that we get together and then learn together. When we say we get together, I mean families, not children, but families, because when we are all there, adults, children, grandparents, whoever can be part of the community, then it becomes a beautiful group and each one learns from each other. We learn by connecting with people of similar interest, or we could do collaboration work together, and these could be people of different ages working together. Also, different people could be mentoring or supporting each other. They could be children supporting children, children supporting adults, adults supporting children. And yeah, so the whole idea of Arohi is to take open learning at a level where we all can get together to co-create, co-learn, co-support. So that's more about Arohi, how Arohi looks at families coming together and doing the open learning, though one can very well do open learning just as a family. So this particular meetup is not so much about Arohi, it's more about the concept of open learning. So we'll talk about that in detail towards the end. If you have specific questions to Arohi, we'll address that also. The idea is to support also families who just want to do open learning, who don't necessarily want to be part of Arohi, but to still connect with them and support them and get them started if they are looking to start, or whichever way they need support, right? So yeah, so that's pretty much it. Just to end that, we have two spaces. One is our campus, which is about 60 kilometers from Bangalore, but in Tamil Nadu. It's a rural campus, and any family, any children can come and stay here, and we all become part of the campus and live together and learn together. And we also have a virtual campus where families from all over the world, there are families from other countries also, but definitely a lot of families within the country from different cities. We all connect together on daily basis. And yeah, we do a lot of things together. We support each other in our journey of open learning. So that's the community that we can talk about a little later. Right, let me now stop sharing my screen because that's enough for an introduction, I guess. Okay, which is saying my camera seems to be shaking a lot. Okay, I'll try to see if I can fix that. But meanwhile, we can start the discussion. We also, what we do is, since we meet every Saturday, we give a little theme to every meetup, and today's theme is different children, different goals. Right, Vijay, would you like to little share on that, and then we can open the discussion, questions to everybody who's here.
Sure. Thanks, Rad. So yeah, your camera was a little shaky today. Um, the theme today we thought would be good to look at how each of us is different, not just children, but even as adults are so different. And that's why each of us has crafted our own way through our careers, in some sense, our own careers. Now, through open learning, what we are, what we practice, what we live is bringing or strengthening the child from a much younger age so that they can frame their own goals. And these goals are not constant. I mean, we have all lived at least 30, 40, 50 years now, and we have constantly revised our goals. So, and as we have lived, we have learned how to revise, how to reframe our plans and all that. And it would be great to have children also pick up these skills, because actually, if we look at life today and careers also, if you think of it in terms of careers, that being able to the agility in your skills and all that, so that's so critical, that's considered so critical for success these days. So the more a child or an individual practices it, the better one gets at it. And especially when you do a deliberate practice of doing these things. So that's why we felt it's important to emphasize this aspect that each child, each learner, not just a child, but each learner needs to set their own goals. And open learning is a format, is a way of living and learning where we encourage and support each other in our own goals. So it's not that Ratnesh does exactly what I do or Preeti and Rekha do exactly what Ratnesh does, but each of us in our own ways sets our goals, and then we put out a call saying, hey, I need some help with this, or somebody asked me, hey, Dwiji, can you help me with this, right? So the idea is that goals are not shared, but then the resource of the community is shared. And that's the beauty of open learning, and that to open learning in a community. So that's the idea. That's the, like a seed for today's discussion. So not just Ratnesh, even my throat is a little hoarse today. So if it's the same Rekha that is part of the community, then Rekha and Preeti can answer more of the questions, and then Ratnesh and I can rest our throats a little more. Yeah.
Right.
So yeah, the floor is open. So please feel free to unmute yourself, or if you're more comfortable typing in the chat, you're welcome to do that as well.
And kind of join us on
yeah,
video also, so that we
of
all look
course.
like we are all sitting together for a evening chit chat. Yeah, and yeah, please feel free to start or steer the discussion towards what thoughts are running in your mind.
Yes, Raj, please go ahead. Do you have a question?
Hi, Ramesh. Divya here. I
Yeah,
want to know how a day would be. Do you have any plans for the day, or is it the way the child wants it to be?
You have answered the question yourself. Exactly. So just to add to that, whether the child is at home or the child is anywhere else in this world, including Arohi campus, wherever the child or adult or you or me, we all kind of, so in open learning, that's why I was telling Santosh that you're not new to open learning. We are all open learners in that sense. We all decide what we want to do in a day or in a week, and then we, whatever. Some people make very detailed plans. I know Preeti makes very detailed plans for herself. But some people like me don't make so detailed plans, but still we have some broad idea about this is what I want to do during the day. And then I design my day according to that. If you are specifically referring to the campus, yeah, even in campus, it's exactly the same. Each child designs their day every day. Each adult here also designs their day. There are some common times where we all get together, obviously, because we all live together. Apart from that, yeah, everybody else, the rest of the time, which is almost like 80% of the time, each one designs how they want to live today.
Okay.
There are not many more people who have joined in, I think, in the last 5-10 minutes. Welcome, everybody. So maybe you are a little hesitating, but that's okay. Please jump in with your thoughts, with your questions. Even if you missed whatever we shared at the beginning, doesn't matter. It's a very informal, open, yeah, kind of a meetup. There's no one agenda. We don't come in with any agenda. It's all about trying to support you in understanding open learning. That's the only objective we are here.
Ratnesh, I have one question. I've heard about Jagruti, which the sessions that you conduct. So was eager to know a bit more about it so that I have more idea about it and can enroll for it as well.
Okay. Okay, so first of all, this meetup isn't really about Jagriti. Jagriti is a separate initiative of Arohi, where we that is more for parents and teachers to understand children, understand how they can support their children. That's not directly related to open learning. It's definitely indirectly beneficial to, directly beneficial if you are planning to do open learning, but it's not really kind of part of open learning. It's not like you have to do open learning only, then only if you do Jagriti, you can be part of Arohi or anything like, nothing like that. So it's not directly related to today's meetup. But yeah, as simple, it's a program for you to understand yourself as a parent and your child much better, and that will lead to many different ways of working with you and your child. I'll keep it very simple because, as I said, this meetup isn't about Jagriti. If you still have specific questions for Jagriti, you can feel free to give me a call after the meetup or maybe on Monday.
Sure, thank you.
Excuse me, sir. Good evening.
Good evening, Kavita.
So, yeah. So, actually, I just want to know that do you have any offline sessions or offline schools like for this open learning? Because I joined late, so I'm not aware of so many things.
Sure, Preeti, you want to take that? Talk about. I'm just requesting Preeti to respond to your question, Kavita.
Okay. Hi, Preeti.
Kavita, you're asking for offline, right? Or online? Am I audible?
Yeah.
Kavita, where are you placed?
Sion. Sorry, Chembur. I stay at Chembur.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm sure maybe you're looking for online, more of online, I think so. But anyway, maybe I'll be able to little bit talk about both the ways, offline and online. So offline, there is a campus in Hosur near Bangalore. It is 60 kilometers away from Bangalore. There is a whole campus, residential campus, wherein the whole family can go and live together with Arohi community. And there we all co-create, we all do lots of stuff from morning to night. And as of now, my daughter is there only. So,
Preeti, little disturbance in your mic. Maybe you might need to hold it closer.
okay. Now better?
Yeah, better.
Okay. So there is this campus, Arohi campus in Hosur. So that is offline. There physically everybody is present. It's like 5-acre property wherein you thoroughly enjoy nature, and you enjoy Arohi food, nice food, and amazing, super duper amazing activities and stuff. Means yeah, and specifically there, children and everybody, even all adults, everybody, they all create their own day and they all follow their day. And by the end of the day, we do reflection and all of that. So that is offline. And online, we connect with Arohi from wherever you are. So even I'm from Mumbai. So and Chembur. So yes, we connect online with Arohi. So in online, we have sessions, very informal sessions, I can say, because there is nothing like a teacher and learner relationship in Arohi. And here, everybody is a teacher, everybody is a learner. And so here, the energies are exchanged, and the learnings and everything, whatever I know, I can share with everybody, and whatever anybody else knows can share with the whole community. And online, how it happens is that we have specific sessions like from on Monday opening circle and Saturday closing circle, that way. But apart from that, throughout the week, we are connected via Zoom, via many clubs and all, which are all created by the community itself. Like I can create and start something new for the whole community, because I know that particular skill or something I know which I really want to share with everybody. So I've started that. I can start a workshop or anything. Same way, you can create anything, you can start anything, and everybody will be happy to receive it from you. And you can share whatever learning or journey you want to share. Then that way, online we are connected very closely, very close knit family we are in Arohi. And yeah, I can actually talk the whole 1.5 hour here. So yeah, so from Bombay, honestly, I'm there, and we had a meetup on 28th May itself. And Kavita, I'm not sure you were there or not there. And across India, many parents and many families are connected online, and even abroad, people are there who are connected. So you can be part of online, and when you are part of online, you are definitely part of the whole of Arohi community. So you're also offline connected, online connected, everywhere you're connected with the community. I hope I've answered.
Yeah, I get it. But I just feel ki, if our children want to join like offline, so how they can go?
So, so Kavita, in that case, see, I'll tell my style, what we have done as family in 2021 when we started going offline. So from Bombay, we went to Bangalore as a family. We three, me, my husband, and my daughter, we all went to the campus. We stayed there for a week's time, and then we came back. Then online, we were connected, continuously we were there. Online. Then we again went, then my husband didn't come, me and my daughter, we went again to the campus. We stayed there for 1.5 months. I was on and off in the campus and on and off in Bangalore with the community families only. They had hosted me very beautifully. One of the families here, I call him to know sambar recipes now. So, so yeah, so that way we went again offline and we stayed in campus for 1.5 months. And now I am in Bombay, my husband is in Bombay, and my daughter is in campus. So, and she is there for roughly 2 months. So that is how we balance online, offline, this line, that line.
Okay.
Just
Thank
to add a quick thing there, Kavita, the idea of open learning is not just about where you are. You can practice open learning wherever you are. And the idea of the community is that it's not just the child who joins the community, it's the whole family that joins. So like Preeti was sharing, it's not just Mishti, her daughter, who is joined, but Preeti, Pranav and Mishti. And if we are lucky, the other, family members as well. So, you design how, when, how much, all those things are set by the families themselves about when they want to go offline, when they want to be online, and as in offline, as in, yeah, even that is actually set by the families. When they really want to be offline from the community also, it's something that the families set. But yeah, be on campus, be online, or be offline altogether. Because there are a lot of open learners who do open learning, and they were part of ROE for some time, and then they're not very active in the community, but are still practicing open learning and doing their own thing. So it's not that open learning equal to ROE. No. Open learning is way beyond ROE. And ROE gives us a lot of the tools for us to make the best, or make our lives better, our learning and our life better.
One more thing I want to add here, Kavita, if like there is some online, offline confusion or something going on. So basically, in online, I'm not comparing again. Don't think that I'm comparing open learning with conventional or anything. Not doing that.
Mic pass rakho.
So I'm not doing that.
Ghumo nahi.
Huh?
Or ghumo nahi.
Okay.
Or carry the mic with you.
Okay.
Thank you.
So, online in Arohi is not like what we have witnessed or we would have witnessed somewhere, sometime in our lives while doing some schooling. Because in Arohi, online or offline, it's everything is fun. So even online, because it is not about sitting with some chapters or sitting with some agenda or something. It is about co-creating. It is about coming together as a community, as families together, and doing things together. So when we are not able to make it offline, we are not able to reach out to Bangalore and reach out to the campus. So even online, people sitting in Dubai, people sitting in Gujarat, people sitting in Mumbai, we all connect together. We all share our energy. We share what we like, what we don't like, and whatever we like, we share with each other. So that way, it is a fun thing. So because why I'm telling this, because I understand this, that when it comes to when somebody says online, then our antennas get like this, and we think oh online में तो मेरे बच्चे को interest ही नहीं होता है, बैठता ही नहीं है, होता ही नहीं है. So it is not that. It is really not that, because my daughter, she very straight away refused to sit for any of the school like in 2000 and like I'm talking about 2 years back, when she refused that I don't want to do online schooling. But when it came to online Arohi, she is like since 2 years, she has not even missed one session. Anything that is happening in Arohi, online or offline, she is not missing anything. So that is the difference just sharing here.
Okay. So it's like if you are going for like it's online learning, so it's open learning. So how we can I'm just a little bit confused. If you are going for an online open learning, so how we can teach our child, like if you give ideas or what exactly it is, because I am late joined this, so I am not aware of what ideas is this open learning.
हम कुछ टीच करते ही नहीं है, हमें टीच करते हैं वो लोग.
Acha, okay. It's basically kids learning by doing it, something like that.
Yeah, Kavita, you missed the small introduction we gave at the beginning. The whole idea of open learning is that the child decides, but not just the child, everybody in the family decides what they want to do or learn, let's say in a week or in a month or in a year or in a lifetime. And then they go about learning and doing that. They figure out how, each one figures out how they want to learn whatever they want to learn. Okay. It could be from anywhere. Any resource, any person, or just by themselves by doing something or with a group. So it's all driven by the child. So open learning is where the child leads his own life or her own life, and not, we don't try and say, okay, you should learn this because I think you should learn this. So it doesn't work like that. Yeah, which is what the conventional education does. So yeah, that's a brief quick recap of what we shared at the beginning. Yeah.
And we have you can just browse and you'll find a lot of videos, a lot of articles on open learning and what we mean by self-directed learning to get a better idea. It can be a little confusing in the beginning, but just hang in there and get some more, give it a little more time. And in case you still have questions, you can come again in the next meetup. We meet every Saturday. There is no limit. You can attend as many as you want. And yeah, so you can share your questions then as well.
Okay, one more question. As a parent, what our duty, like in an open learning, हम क्या कर सकते हैं for them?
Okay, that's very simple to answer.
We have to observe kids and let them do what they want, or what we can encourage them. Or
Kavita, I'll try and answer this very quickly and very simply. The best thing that we can do according to us is just become another learner. Right? If I also am a learner, child is also a learner, then we are two co-learners. And if all of us here, let's say Preeti, Pranab, Dwiji, Priya, Raj, Harika, I'm taking names of people on the video. If all of us are also learners, then we are all co-learners doing different things, but all also at the same time supporting, rubbing our energies with each other and helping and questioning and challenging and everybody facilitating everybody. Right? So if we are a group of, let's say 20 or 30, 40 kids and adults, so there are that many facilitators. That's the beauty of open learning in a community. So okay. I would say that is the best role. Every other role, as much as you would like to, observe the child, remember the child will also observe you. As much as you would like to teach the child will also teach you. As much as you would like to control the child may also control you. So it's all together. Yeah. Yeah, Priya, you wanted to ask.
Right. Yeah. What are the offline options like only during the day, like different offline option, not online, offline options, like is the campus open on weekends? Like, can the kids just go during the day and come back to the home? Like, what kind of options do you have for offline learning at ROE campus?
Right. So Priya, the whole idea of ROE is to keep it is called as open learning community, and the first word itself is open. So we are, as a community, we are open to any permutation combination you can imagine, and your design can keep changing also. It's not like you have to decide one thing and follow. So for example, you can come in the morning, go back in the evening, go back in the afternoon, go back at midnight, you decide. You can stay for a week, and week after week, you can stay alternate weeks, you can stay once in a month, 1 week in a month, you can come for 1 month and not come for 2 months. You name it, you design, you think how you want to be. Basically, as Dwiji was mentioning, the space itself is not important. Where you as a family or where even your child is physically is not important. But if we are all together as a community in our minds, first of all, then we are together. Then how does it matter whether the child is in, let's say, Bangalore, or you are in somewhere else, or the child is in campus, or you are in campus, the child is somewhere else, or wherever, whoever is, we are all living our life. Now, the idea is, do we want to kind of be connected and hence be together in this journey? That's the whole idea. And we are constantly both giving and getting a whole lot in return from each other.
So are you, that means campus is open on weekends too, like kids can stay in the campus on the weekends also?
Yeah, kids do. So typically the kids who are coming from other cities other than Bangalore, they stay on the weekends because they can't just keep going back. If somebody's from Mumbai, for example, she can't be going back every weekend. But typically children who come from Bangalore, they, since Bangalore is close by, just about a couple of hours away, so they typically go back every weekend to their homes. But other children, other families can be here on the weekend.
So this is more like a personal question, but I don't know if it is appropriate, like to ask in this forum or not. But like my son is like 15 years old, and he's been growing in the US for like, you know, all this, and he has gone to the regular schools, and like he's not like no, but he's like a little hesitant to come back to India and like, you know, stay there. But I have been telling him like, you just be open and explore different possibilities. Like, you know, just don't think like, you know, this is the only best place to live or anything like that. But he like, you know, I want to play basketball for my school, this and that. But you know, I've been telling you like, okay, let's go and explore this new thing. But he's fine to come. But I'm just wondering what are different ways maybe I can make him like, you know, come really enthusiastically, like, you know, without having any constraint in himself. Like, okay, it's a new thing. I really want to see it, you know, to be excited about it.
I don't know. I would say just let him come with whichever frame of mind he is coming, and that's absolutely fine. We are absolutely, we don't need a particular frame of mind to come to Arohi. Right. So whether somebody is too eager or very reluctant, either which way, let him come and experience. You also come and experience. And as the family experiences, you can see what role the community can play, if at all. And if it does, great. If it doesn't, that's also great. No issues. Everything is very, very open. So there are no expectations that, oh, you know, it has to be this way or that way. And maybe you can even communicate him that there are no expectations, that there are no, there are no caveats, no asterisks hanging anywhere.
Yeah, and Priya, I think the other important thing is that, especially when you are looking at a teenager relocating, you have to let them be, right? So you can't really drive a teenager as much as a teenager can drive their parents. So
Vijay, in that case, you have to let them be anybody.
Yeah. So that's where I was going. So in some sense, if he's already wants to play basketball at school, you know, there's something that he wants to do. So, I mean, again, a personal point here, but probably, you know, dial the child and let him say what he wants to do.
Yeah, but like, see, what happens, like, as he's growing, we can see, like, you know, when they go to the regular school, they have to do so many things. It's not just one thing, right? So it is a little bit, I think, you know, even though child doesn't feel that way, but as a parent, I can say it's like, you know, too much. You know, they put hands into so many things, and they really cannot become full possibility will not come in any area though. That's how I feel. But I don't know.
How does your son feel about that? Have you shared your concerns with him?
uh, I did, but he says okay, but still I will give myself to basketball. He says like that. He spends a lot of time on it, but when he's doing the other things, like I feel that the exhaustion comes, like but the child won't realize it, and the frame of mind is such, like it keeps changing, like they get so, like a lot of influence too, that okay, oh, if I just do one thing, I might go homeless when I'm like 23, because I may not be able to earn money with it, like he also says, like only less than 1% of the people who pursue these sports, they get somewhere, and it's not something like that, like he has some ideas are concretized, but also there will always, like those who, like in general, the questions come like for those who really have to start earning at some age, right? Like the structured way is like you get a degree and you get a job, and your life may not be full possibility, but you start doing something that you may really
So Priya, I feel it would be good if you just went through some of the recordings of the earlier meetups, especially in the, like the 30s to the 70s or so, where we had a lot of families share their open learning journey. And probably that would help you in identifying how you can, what other families have done and are doing. And yeah, that might be of some help.
Sure, thank you.
Yeah. Also, Priya, I think Viji indicated that, but I want to little elaborate because I think your question, not your question, your situation is very interesting, where the child is in some way clear of his goals, at least as of now. He's thinking of basketball, and I would say, to be very frank, in terms of resources to learn and play basketball at a professional level, I'm sure nothing is better than US in terms of just the infrastructure. Yes, in terms of competition also, because there are that many more basketball players in US. But that's up to him to decide. That's his choice if he wants to look at it. So in open learning, we are not trying to say that everybody needs to do it this way. Rather, I would say everybody, the child is leading, the child is thinking, and the whole idea is to let the child decide the path. Yes, the child will have his own anxieties about earning and so on and so forth, and that is precisely what open learning is all about, to have those anxieties, to have those questions, and to continue to figure out how am I going to answer all my questions. If we give that, I would say again, leadership to the child, yes, the child will make some mistakes, not that we don't make mistakes as parents and adults, but rather let him make his own mistakes and learn from them and grow from there. Yeah. So it's not like that coming to Arohi, or even just leaving everything else and doing it this way is the only answer, right? If he feels through his school or whatever system in US is to move ahead in basketball, if he can figure out his own path, both professionally as well as athletically. So I think that's we in open learning we would say let's value that. Let's value his way of thinking. He can come, he can experience Arohi experience here also, and he can see, okay, so there are some other options, and then he can overall decide, hey, this is how I want to do it. And then, the rest is being with him. So, that's the beauty of open learning. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I was just thinking, like, see the concept itself, like, being open, like, to learning and things like that. I think it's not just what you really want to do in your life versus, the concept and how people approach everything in life, being interested in everything also, like, you might become something, but, you have to pay attention to every aspects of life, right? So I think, just being there at Arohi for like, 6 months, or like, it can give different perspective to the whole, idea of life, I think. I think that way, but I don't know. We just want to just explore and see.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Ratnesh, here I think Asavli and Drupad example would be great.
You want me to share that? I actually shared at the beginning briefly that my daughter explores many things while my son explores only one thing, or rather going deep into one thing. Yeah. Anyway, let's take more questions. There's a lot of people today in the group. Please unmute, come on the video. If you not comfortable, cannot come on video, that's fine. Unmute, ask questions. This is what this whole session is all about. So please go ahead and share your questions or your thoughts or your experiences.
I would like to share one of my experiences with my daughter. She's 6.5 years old and she's attending Unschool program by Pitara. Okay, so from Dubai, and she's so connected. Like, I mean, the first session was cooking session, and that was the first time she said, "I'm so excited and I did something." Okay, she cut everything. We were online, but we were actually doing here. Okay, so that is one thing. So online still has, I mean, the connect is still there. So she connects to those that group better than her school, which is again the normal teaching mode. And another thing is we're traveling to India, and I was not sure if I have to sign up next month because I thought she may not be able to attend. And then in her mentor meeting, she asked, "Do you want to sign up?" And she was not sure. And then we had a discussion. Do you still want to do it, or you can continue it from August to September? She was like, "Why do I have to take a break? I'm anyways in India. If I have a laptop, I can still connect from there." So I think children have that clarity. So if we can, discuss with them, yes, they'll open up and they'll show us the way.
True. Okay, more questions from people who are there.
Yes, sir. He answers one over here.
Yeah.
Yeah. So wanted to ask on like what goes like further the future, if I can say. Yeah, it is not like not that career specific or whatever, but the child is interested into like many things. He goes and explores. Then what? About the finances, if I talk, so how that will be handled if.
So if you're saying how does the child progress or kind of, not progress, but how is the progression? I didn't mean progress in the sense of that, but how is the progression? Then see, broadly speaking, children from a younger age are more in the exploratory stage where they explore a lot of different things.
Yes.
Then slowly, each one obviously at a different age, they start reducing their explorations and start going deeper into some areas. And then eventually either some of them transform out of that into one area, or some choose still continue to do multiple areas, but they go still more deeper and develop a certain kind of an expertise. Right. And once they develop a certain kind of expertise, then they either take it up directly professionally, or if they need something to take it up professionally, then they kind of acquire that. It could be via a course. It could be even via a degree if they need it. If they need to go to a college, they go to a college. If they don't need to go to a college, or if they don't want to, they do it through either their own effort. A lot of them do through internships and freelancings and apprenticeships and a lot of work that they do themselves. And as they create their own, as I said, expertise, they become professionals. And again, the professionals themselves can be in the form of a job or in the form of being self-employed, or in the form of entrepreneurship, or however they want to. So if, and this is the generic, you can say, I'm saying just the generic profile. The whole idea is also not to necessarily bind future equal to money. That is something which we want to question, because that's how the whole education system seems to be running behind. What kind of a college? Why what kind of a college? Because what kind of a job? Why what kind of a job? Because what kind of a pay? It's kind of that has become the so-called rat race.
Yeah, success is measured in the terms of money.
Yeah.
Like that way.
Right. So in open learning, we also question that. And we invite children to think however they want to think. Some are very money oriented, which is absolutely fine. Some are not at all money oriented. In my family itself, my daughter is not at all money oriented. Okay, while my son is like, I want to become professional, I want to earn this much, and so on and so forth. I have to have my own house, this, that. So he has his own schema of things, while my daughter is totally different. I don't care about money at all. I can beg on the street and live my life kind of a person. So I'm just saying it's each individual driven, each family driven. When you want that kind of a so-called financial independence, some people want it at 24, 25. Some people are okay at 35. Some people are okay at never to be financially independent. Some people are, so it's really, some children want it at even 16. They want to start earning. So it's really up to each family and each child. Open learning by itself isn't trying to say that, hey, you have to earn or you have to do it this way. It is in fact inviting each family to start discussing this. I think the key thing that is missing is that people are not openly, clearly, at length discussing or exploring how I want to live my life. We are just running behind what everybody else is saying. Hey, by now you should be earning. That's one so-called tag, and then everybody wants to kind of follow that. So that's the whole idea of open learning, to start questioning everything, to start discussing everything. And out of those discussions, whatever individual preferences are, that's absolutely fine.
Like how by that time they should be knowing ABC, they should.
Absolutely, absolutely. So in open learning, everything is certainly open to discussion, open to exploration, open to interpretations, and that's the beauty of life.
So they have given like any project or they only decide, right? The child decide if.
See, it's neither. It's all, we are a community, so we are all together. It is not just that somebody decides and that's the end of it. Or it's not that somebody gives. Just imagine if there are 30, 40, 50, 60 people together, then so many things will keep happening. Some people will get together and do something. Some people will do alone something. Some people will seek help. Some people will give help. So it's all very dynamic. We call it co-learning and co-creating.
Okay.
Right. And again, it depends on the individual. One child may say, I don't want anybody. I will just do this myself. I will find a project. Another child might say, hey, somebody give me a project. I'm bored. So both is fine.
Okay.
Again, we are not coming from that. Hey, so and who will, suppose somebody says, Preeti says today that I want to do something. Somebody give me an idea. Anybody in the whole community can give Preeti ideas, and then she can take up whichever she likes. So it works like that.
I want to learn driving 4-wheeler.
Absolutely. For all you know, your car might get filled up with teachers.
Because I know 2-wheeler, but I am like dying to.
Sure. Yeah. So that's the whole idea. The community is there, and who will connect with whom, and whom will you connect with, or your child will connect with, we don't know. But that's exactly the community is.
The whole day it's on.
Yeah, whole day is on, but again, who connects with whom at what time, each individual decides. I could be whole day on with the community, or I could just be doing my thing in my room. Even at campus, it is possible. I could just be sitting in one corner doing my things, or I could be out involved with others. So it's really driven again by each, but everybody is knowing what all is happening around them. So they have choices.
So how come online and offline people connect? Like offline there, they
right.
do connect.
So we have a platform called Discord. If you are already familiar with it, it's a social whatever. It's a closed community in a platform called Discord, where everything is shared, what all is happening, where, who's doing what, who has need of what. And using that platform of Discord, we all know what action is happening. So if I'm here and I want to know, oh, this is happening, so I can also connect with whoever is doing that, and that's how we work it out.
Okay.
So like I know that Ratnesh is nowadays doing wood carving.
Yeah. So Preeti was just giving an example where if I am doing something, so I will maybe, let's say, take a picture of it or just share in one line that I am learning this or doing this. And then somebody else may know, and then somebody else may give me a tip or may also want to join me. Hey, I also want to do, how are you doing it? And so on.
So child is connected through any device, or like how the child will come to know? This Discord is where?
Yeah, it's a digital thing. So the Discord is based on, it's like a WhatsApp, but a more organized, more like a Microsoft Teams or Slack, or that kind of a social media, you can call it. Yeah, it is through a device. Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, that was more like how Arohi is working. But if there are more questions on open learning, I'm always keen on talking more about open learning. So there are people who have joined in for the first time. You can go ahead and ask questions. Yeah, Santosh, you have a question? Go ahead, please.
Yeah, see, I connected in the beginning and then I'm traveling actually, and I lost almost half an hour of the discussion. So I have rejoined back. I had a very, how should I say, very basic or trivial question, and maybe you can help me out with this. So do we have examples, and if you can share that? See, I'm coming from a place of fear. I don't know what it means and how it will work out. And like one of the other participants said, the fear of, livelihood. So what happens to the child after he or she goes through open learning? Let's say doesn't go to any school, doesn't have any certifications, doesn't go to any formal education. So if we can look at live examples and say that, okay, so and so person, you did speak about your daughter, but I would like to hear more details or more examples on a person, a boy or a girl who went through this process and then still is able to earn his or her livelihood. If you can just give us some examples, couple of them would be great.
Yeah, but before we go on to sharing with you examples, just to Pranav, would you like to respond to the whole thought of going into the future, going into a profession?
I don't know. How do we relate education to earning? And like, say, for examples, I can just go on saying Sachin Tendulkar, he just did his 10th, and उसने cricket में इतना नाम कमाया कि I think no IIT would ever do it. I don't know Amitabh Bachchan is academically done what. Or in that case, there is a writer, Herman Hesse, who's done a book, Siddharth, and it's the bestseller. And he's a school dropout, and he talks about spiritualism. And more importantly, as Ratnesh highlighted last time, he's never been to India. Without being to India, he's written a book, Siddhartha, which is more Indianized, a story. So the idea is, I don't know, examples could be several, and there are many examples, I'm sure, Santosh. And assuming that every person who's doing well in life is been through school, is that the assumption you are coming from? So I don't think that's really the case. Or everyone who's gone to school and is doing well, is that you are assuming? So I think we see lot of unemployment, lot of people not getting work, job, or the kind of job that they get is like hardly in money terms, I'm just saying. So it's not great. So I think that education, somebody has called me on a do you want a loan? मैंने उनको खाली इतना पूछा, rate of interest पता 5% है. मैंने बोला per month या per annum? Let me bring my senior online and that person will discuss. Now the person who is calling me and offering me a loan or selling a loan and telling me 5% and doesn't know what is per month and what is per annum, and I'm sure it must be from some education background. 10th, 12th, college. So what sort of education are we talking about, and what is the fear here, and what is not the fear? So I think, and there are many, like there are people who have done well in life with minimal sort of college degrees, or ample people. I'm sure there are many, even businesses tycoons, or the top business guys. They have learned from their experiences and they have gone ahead in life. Even for me, if I can say, I have done my CA, but I have jumped into various professions. I have been into storytelling. I have been into fast food and ice cream parlor. So we have explored many different things. And we were like, if you pay enough attention, if you put your mind to it, I'm sure you can do well in life. So I don't see a particular degree can really make that difference. So it's up to an individual. So unless, of course, the fear is the way the system works for anything, for medicines or hospitals or schools or everything. So if we are driven by that fear rather than by our passion or our belief. So if we live by that fear, then it's difficult to get over it in a way. You have to let go and kind of choose a path and follow it with real passion. That's it. So examples so kafi hoga, Santosh, I'm sure.
Yeah, thanks, Pranav. So
And
Santosh, that
one-
was, sorry, yeah, and Preeti, I'm just trying
one-
to tell Santosh that we'll come to examples, but I think before example, we just wanted to set some perspective that the
yeah.
example per se are not important, because this whole anxiety of, or rather the fear, which is very real, but which needs to be dealt with by more discussions rather than by proof, because as he said, in any kind you take, there will be some success, some failure. So success, failure by itself is not of one type. Yeah, Preeti, go ahead.
So, and I also wanted to add about having trust, like trust in the whole thing, in nature, trust in your child, trust in yourself, in the family, in the community, and everything. So even when a child either goes to school or not goes to school, where do we have more trust on? Do we have trust more on the school system or home system, or we have more trust on the child itself? So that, like, wherever our child is, we have our trust on the child, or maybe on ourselves also. I believe that trust is very important to cut off or just shoo away the fear. Sorry, my mic.
Yeah.
And
So,
just to
Santosh,
can I just
yeah.
give since he's asked examples, and I just recently read few things. See, there are many things like Linux, Firefox, Wikipedia. This is all run through open source system, which is not being funded, or it's not corporatized. Like, it's not a product of any particular company. It's the people who are doing it, and we all are using Firefox. We are all using Wikipedia. We are all using Linux. So there are many such examples which comes from open source. So there are people who are driven to do it. So that drive is there. It doesn't work for, they don't work for money. For money, they do various different other things as well. So I'm just saying, it's not the money which will bring, or say, what I meant to say was, there are many things which is happening beyond money, and people are just driven to do it, and they do it. Even several companies, corporates are now coming up with the idea of giving time to the employees to explore and come up with their own new fresh ideas, rather than bucketing them into particular time frame of doing things. So they get 20% of free time, आप इसमें जो भी explore करना है आप explore करो. So these are the corporates which are doing it, and from that we've got products like Post-it, we got Google Mail. These are the products which have come out of those 20% of time with the employees spent exploring what they wanted to explore. Now just imagine the impact of those things in our lives. So it's not about particular education that will drive you in a particular way, or it will lead to a certain thing.
Yeah. Thanks, Pranav. I like your energy on this. So
Also,
Santosh, sorry, somebody else wanted to share.
also, yeah, this is Priya, and
Go ahead, Priya.
see, so much emphasis comes to the earning, though, but the journey itself is not so pleasant, and that becomes part of the entire life. See, that's what I'm not so comfortable with, actually.
Sure. Yeah. But still, to answer Santosh's question. So Santosh, instead of giving you one or two examples, what I want to tell you is that the people who do open learning, so we have a joke, no, they don't grow horns on their head. And they're very similar to everybody else. What I'm trying to say is, it is just the journey which Priya was just talking about. That is what is different. But otherwise, we have open learners in all kinds of fields, in all kinds of professions. We have open learners going into, let's say, movie making. We have open learners who goes into corporate jobs like Google and all. We have open learners who go into freelancing. We have open learning who becomes entrepreneurs, open learners who start startups. There are open learners who become housewives. There are open learners who become, all kinds. So if you're asking me example, I can, if given little time, not in this, I can literally give you an example of all kinds of professions in all kinds of places, which you will find anyway anybody else going. What I'm trying to say, that they are not a breed apart, that they are, as we say, they don't have horns on their head. You don't, an open learner could be a guy sitting next to you in the bus, and he would just be like you and me, right? The idea is not that you become something different. The idea is that your journey has been very different, and you have looked at life in a different way, and whatever is your choices, you have led it. The realization that whether you go through the structured schooling way, or you go through the open learning way, you can still do whatever you feel like doing. Not that just because you have gone through open learning, you cannot do certain things, or just because you have gone through schooling, college, you have some specific major advantage. I would say either ways, everything is available to any which one. The idea is, yes, conventional schooling and college is one route. If you want to go that is anyway available. But there are other ways of living your life and exploring yourself before you commit on to that, oh, this is gonna be my thing. Why I'm specifically bringing this is because so many people who start a corporate job, who start from the college, get placed, people like me, who leave their jobs and actually end up doing something which they were never educated for or trained for. They didn't even have skill sets for, including me. I started working with children with zero skill sets. Right? I had never worked with children. I have no degree or qualification in education. But the sheer joy of just being with children was so fun that I started learning about them from them. So I am the most, in terms of qualification, the most unqualified person to talk about children and learning. But still lots of people come and listen to us. Not because we have degrees, but because we've just enjoyed being with them, observed them, and lived with them. So what I'm trying to say is, a lot of people in today's world are not necessarily following their profession based on their so-called degrees and certificates and stuff like that. They're leaving them behind and moving on to. Pranav is another example. Preeti is another example. Dwiji is possibly another example. All of us are no more doing what, education, the degrees that we got. And we evolved over a period. So open learners just say, why waste your time of so many college degrees when as well you might explore during those years what you actually want to do, right? That's just the way. Otherwise, yeah, the professions and the earnings and whatever is what each one wants to and each one works for. So yeah, sorry, we have kind of taken a long-winded way to kind of answer your question. Lastly, as Dwiji was mentioning, in our recordings, there are some stories of children who have walked this path and who are now into certain professions. If you would like to hear their interviews, in a way, they're not interviews, they themselves are sharing their stories, including my daughter has done one, but there are many more. So you can go back to the recording and you might need to little skim through some of the which ones that you would like to look at. But they are stories told by the children themselves. So just to warn you that there are almost about 90 recordings. So you will have to find out which one you want to listen, because we have been doing this for quite some time. Yeah. Santosh, you will have to tell us what.
And in case you are going to browse through the whole archive, Santosh, please catalog it and send us the catalog. so that we can put the index somewhere on the website.
Yeah. So this was good. This was a good discussion on this part. See, I still go back to the livelihood question because like Ratnesh started from in the very beginning, that if you see the purpose of education, I mean, we discussed here the purpose of education is to live or to enjoy life. That's perfect. That's perfect. But if you see majority of the world, if I may say that, or at least majority of India, the reason we or other people have education is to earn a livelihood. And so now see, what we are talking of here is that, okay, people usually have degrees in something else and go on to do something else. I agree. We talk of Sachin Tendulkar and we talk of Amitabh Bachchan also, I agree. But this is a very small percentage of the population. If you look at it, I mean, I'm just throwing numbers and I could be completely wrong. Maybe 70-80% of the population, at least in their first jobs, because see, this is when we really need that livelihood, because people don't have the saved money. So in the first job, we get a job because we have a college degree, because we have some degrees, right? So I mean, for me to say that, okay, I got a degree in, let's say, engineering, and then I went on to become a doctor, or maybe not doctor because that requires a license, so maybe something else, maybe I went to become a painter. Fine, but that is only possible after I have some level of financial security, if I may say so. So long question short, are we, so there was a concept called as scholarly gentlemen, probably 100 years ago in the Victorian era, wherein people who were well off, whose livelihood was already secured, or who had enough money, they went into learning, into education. So are we saying that open learning is something like that? It is for people who are, relatively well off. They don't really need to worry either themselves or their parents or their families. They are okay. I mean, they can manage, I don't know, maybe 5 years without any income. Are we saying that open learning is, like that? Or are we saying that open learning is a complementary thing? So you do something, you have a job, you secure your livelihood, and then you learn something else and you call it open learning because you didn't go through a structured process. You just
Can I?
Yeah, just 1 second, Priya. Preeti also wanted to share something.
Yeah, I will come up.
Just a quick reminder, it's 6:25. We usually wrap up around now.
You can take it up till 7 o'clock. This question is
Yeah, I think that's an important reminder. So we have 5 more minutes to discuss this.
So I'm not opening
Santosh, what I think Vijay is trying to say is, do join us again any Saturday, coming Saturday, so we can discuss it more. Not like everything has to be discussed within today, but yeah, we will wrap up by 6:30. So yeah, so somebody else wanted to reply to.
See, Kunal,
Hey, Pranav, ruko na,
Pranav, somebody else also.
Pehle Preeti.
I want to say something too, but when I
Pehle
can.
Priya. First,
See, this is what I'm observing, like, as a parent from the beginning to now. Like, yes, if somebody has a situation to really earn money at 22, you can still do it. You don't have to go to school. I think, like, if you have focus and, if you have interest to learn something, you can get some certification and get a job, right? But to have a open mindset, to be open to life all the time, is not coming through this education. That's what I'm observing.
+1 to Priya. +1 to Priya. And then beyond that, Santosh, it is like, honestly, there are so many different ways, like, to be honest, tell me how much money you need to live. I can be satisfied with X amount of money, and you can be satisfied with 10x, and somebody with 100x, somebody else with 1000x, and somebody with, it may be X but not satisfied. Okay, so that money and how much money we need to live and sustain our life is question mark. That is first thing. At what level are we okay with? So that is first thing. And second thing is, uh, if you are really skilled from here, like you're ready for everything, I think you can earn from anywhere. From anywhere. Means even if you're educated, you're not educated, and what is education is another question mark. But whatever, in whichever situation you are, if you're mentally ready, you can earn. Like earning is not an issue for sure. I don't know I'm making sense or not, but there are many things happening. The time का भी constraint है, otherwise this can go up to 7.
Yeah, Pranav, your turn now.
No. See, there are. I just did not to limit myself to Sachin Tendulkar or Amitabh Bachchan. So there are so many farmers. I doubt how many schools or degrees or what degree they have. There could be rich farmers. There could be poor farmers. There are milkmen. I'm sure there are so many people who just deliver milk to your house, and they have dairies. And I doubt about the education qualification, but they are doing good in their life. There are so many sweet shops, restaurants. There's so many things we see around us that that people are flourishing, prospering, doing well. Now, or even the simplest guy, the AC mechanic that comes to our house, or the car mechanic जिसको आपने अपना गाड़ी का चाबी दे दिया है, have you ever asked for a certification from that person? And have you ever inquired how much is he or she earning? So probably we don't get into that details because we are limited ourselves to view a certain life and certain sphere around us and conditioned to look at that particular areas only. But there are people who are doing well in life, and trust me, I'm sure my AC mechanic must be earning well than a college graduate. And if that is a benchmark, then I think there is no need to be a college graduate. I can be an AC mechanic if that is my passion to be. So I'm not saying everybody सब लोग AC mechanic बन जाए. I'm just saying if I have that drive. Similarly, as I was saying, we were into we started a fast food outlet. So we started from the beginning. So we knew nothing about fast food. We knew nothing about ice creams. We knew nothing about cake. But we had that business acumen and we brought everything together and we started doing it. So there was no course. We didn't become any kind of chefs or anything of that kind. So there is a journey. You have to embark on that journey, believe in that journey, and give your everything. जैसा आप education में अपना पूरा दे दोगे and you attain that particular scores, then probably you will do well. But half-heartedly कुछ भी चीज करोगे, then it will not work. So we are not saying that schooling or colleging is bad. At the same time, there are other avenues that what Ratnesh is saying. If you give yourself your everything to it, I'm sure you can do well without that particular college or school degree.
Yeah, thanks Pranav, and thanks Santosh. Yeah. So this discussion goes on, and as I was saying, this is the most common. Vijay, you want to add something?
No, I just said Santosh will continue this in the next weekend.
Yeah. And the question is not just about how to get financial security. As I started off by saying, is why to get financial stability only. Right? Why is that the purpose of even college or education? Why not think of all the things that we need in life and put that in front of you? Whatever is your family or the individual's choice. I'm not saying my perspective or Pranav's perspective, but what I'm saying is each family, I'm inviting each family in this, at least let's say in this country, to put all their needs and thoughts down and say, this is what all I want in life, and then figure out how you want to get that, whatever you want to get, right? Irrespective of whether that gets fulfilled by this way or that way. The question, the problem, Santosh, is that we have not questioned that. We have defaulted it to that this will give this, and that is what we need, as in the financial security is the thing, and school, college will give the thing to me. That's only one equation which is predominantly talked about. I'm not saying everybody is doing that. I'm just saying that. So our whole idea is to open it up and see, first of all, what all my needs are and how all I can fulfill, and then embrace whatever options come to me in this way. Okay, without saying that this is right and this is wrong. Everything is possible. So that is the whole idea of open learning, right? Without trying to say that this is the only objective or that is. Again, each individual can define their own objectives and each family can decide and so on and so forth. So we'll pause the discussion now. And hopefully when we start the discussion again next Saturday and even further Saturdays, let's look at all the aspects of life and then see how all we can fulfill that. And yes, whatever fits into whosoever's, let's call it itinerary of life, they can follow that, and all itineraries are welcome. That's the whole idea, right? So thank you. So thank you everybody for joining, and we'll continue, and yeah, we'll keep meeting, and whoever's planning to come to the campus, you're most welcome. And yeah, you can collect the
You're
information.
most welcome, but please do go through the visit page. Don't just land up on campus.
Yes. Most welcome by registering on the visit page. The registration is pre-required. Yes. Thank you, Dwiji. Yeah. Okay. Thanks.
Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Yeah.
Bye-bye.